UIW Head Coach Clint Killough, Mason Chambers, and Dekalon Taylor joining us. Coach, I'll start with you. Just opening statement as you look forward and get ready for this upcoming year.
Yeah, excited for year two. Ton of experiences, trials, and tribulations in 2023. I thought the year brought a ton of humility, not only to myself, but our players, our coaches, our entire program. And it really brought us together. You know, we had a ton of attrition last year when I took the job from the coaching staff, all 10 new full-time coaches. We lost 66 players from the 2022 season. You know, so you got to gel. You know, that's still part of football. With all this movement in college football, being a team is still the most important thing. You know, and again, we had our trials and tribulations with that this year, or last year, excuse me. But this year, all the things that we went through last year have really brought us together. And I've had a blast coaching these guys. You know, I have a natural chip on my shoulder. This team has a chip on its shoulder that's bigger than ever. So I've had a ton of fun. I'm extremely blessed. I got the best job in the world, being able to coach these guys and lead these guys. So excited, ready to. You know, after today, this is the last little hurdle, and then we get to business.
Mm-hmm. Mason and Dekalon, I'll ask both of you guys, what was last year like? How did it bring you guys closer as a team, coaches, talking about those trials and tribulations? Even though you might not have got the outcome that you wanted, how do you feel like you guys got closer as a group?
I feel like the outcome is what really brought us closer, to be honest. We all seen like faults in everybody's ways, and we're like, okay, so we got to come together and just be closer and gel together. And I feel like we've really done a good job of that this offseason. We've been very like family oriented, like guys. I've said in thousands of interviews, like we stay after and talk for forever. Like yesterday, we were in after the run, stayed and just chopped it up in the locker room until the lift. So it's like we're a real family now. Very intentional about the details that goes around, like as far as film, on the field, running, whatever we're doing, we're very intentional about the things we do.
Yeah, so as far as, you know, the defense, I like to, like I said in a different interview, I like to say that it was kind of like a building. You know, last year our defense was kind of just building up a skyscraper. And throughout this spring and throughout this summer, I feel like we've been continuing this construction on this skyscraper, and up until fall camp, you know, I feel like we are going to pretty much finish construction. I feel like it's been a you know, a great time with those dudes last year. It was a great team, but to those who are returning, to those who are on this team that's right now, everyone has a chip on their shoulder. Everyone was in the same room when we saw that we didn't make the playoffs. Everyone was there, so we all have the same emotions coming into this next season.
The defense did finish ranked nationally in 5 different categories. What are some areas that you think you guys can even build upon after last year and be even better this year?
Like DT just said, we've been really focusing and harping on intentional detail. Intentional trust with my teammates, so I know that they're going to do their job and I'm going to do my job, and I hope that the D-line is going to do their job. It's all down to the details. So we've been really focusing on really being meticulous with a lot of the little things, a lot of the, you know, having your inside foot up, having your, you know, outside leverage, or whatever the case may be. We've been really focusing on those type of things.
Coach, what are some of the details that you feel like you guys still as a group need to work on before Game 1, August 31?
Yeah, we could be here all day. If you want to be here all day, we can. I think my mic might have went out. Yeah, we could be here all day. To be honest with you, we're far from a finished product. We've done some great things in the off season. In spring ball, we took tremendous strides. There's a ton of attrition. Obviously, we've talked about that, but every year is going to be attrition. You know what I mean? So especially like at the receiver position, we had to retool a little bit at the defensive line spot. So the spring was tremendous in terms of, you know, getting some of the schematics down and the rhythm and the timing of things. This offseason in the summer, we've done a great job. Our strength and conditioning program is as good as it gets, in my opinion. Coach Conley does a great job with these guys, so they've addressed that issue. And you know, fall camp, there's going to be problems that come up on a daily or issues that need to get fixed. And I think that it would be impossible for me to sit here and tell you everything that we need to work on, because not all those stones are unturned yet, you know. And I think that the most important thing is that we're going to be focused on the day. We're going to be focused on our next step, you know, and just getting better day to day and being the best version of ourselves on a daily basis, and then we'll look up and we'll be able to do our thing.
Dekalon finished last year with 19 kick returns for 375 yards. Coach, just how important is special teams and having someone that can make those big plays like he does.
Yeah, you got to be a three-phase football team to win championships. Period. End of story. And to be able to have a dynamic returner, not only as a kick returner but as a punt returner, is a luxury. You know, Dekalon is a special talent. He's got track speed and a football body. You know, he's a guy that can play multiple positions. We put him at wideout. We put him at running back. We look forward to featuring him in the offense this year. And he's a great young man. I mean, he's tremendous. Yeah. I could go on and on about DT. He probably got a 4.0 GPA. They asked me earlier who I would let babysit my daughter, and I gave it to DT. Nothing against Mace, but I know if I say bedtime at 9, I know she's going to be in bed at 9. Mace might let her stay up till about 9:30. But it's tremendous. Having a dynamic returner is a luxury that I'm sure every coach in the country would want.
Do you have any babysitting experience?
Yeah, I have 2 nieces that I used to babysit a lot, so yeah.
Coach mentioned the track speed. You were a part of the track team as well?
Yes, I was.
So how is that like going from football and also being able to show your talents out on the track and field as well?
It's really not much of a difference. I'm a competitor, so I like to compete. So it was the same thing I was doing in football, but I could take that mentality and just run with it.
How do you feel like it helps you on the football field?
Overall, I mean, just having that back end speed, like, not a lot of people have it, so it helps me break away in a lot of different situations or shine out in certain situations. But I feel like overall it's just a good conditioner, like good conditioning, good running, help my lungs out.
All right, if we have any questions, I'll hand it off to anyone.
Coach, long time no see.
What's going on, Morgan?
I hope you're doing okay. So you just said at the beginning.
Yeah, sorry. Good catch.
You just said at the beginning you lost 66 players going into your first season. Despite that, you guys still had a 9-2 record. Just talk about how you were able to have that type of success going into your first season as the head coach, and how can you continue that success going into year 2?
Yeah, I think the answer to that is it's collective. You know, players to coaches. We had a lot of tremendous people in the building. My staff, both my coordinators, Connor McQueen and Jim Gush, did a great job of giving both sides of the ball direction. Blair Cavanaugh did a great job with our special teams. I think that we did a tremendous job last year in terms of how much we lost, and bringing in guys that not only are talented but fit UIW. You know, and I've been blessed to be around Eric Morris and G.J. Kinney before me, and be an assistant on those staffs and be out on the streets and recruiting for UIW. I have a little bit of a unique perspective in terms of being a player. So I've really, you know, I just have a feel for what fits at Incarnate Word, to be totally honest with you. And I think that I'm fortunate to be in this position. That's a perk of being home and being at the program where you kind of cut your teeth at. So I think we did a great job of giving direction, of recruiting guys that are really talented. Mason was one of those guys, who had a great career at Iowa State and then came back to San Antonio. He's born and raised from San Antonio. So there's a dynamic of fitting at UIW. He's a San Antonio guy. You know, why would we not want to bring him back to San Antonio and let him play in front of his family and friends and those kinds of things? So all those things. And just to grow on it, kind of what we talked about earlier, cohesiveness, continuing to come together. You know, we have talented guys. We have good direction. So let's look in the mirror and have a little bit of humility about ourselves and see where we can grow. You know, because if you're not willing to look in the mirror and see how you can grow, then you're either probably a little bit too ignorant or too stubborn, to be honest with you.
And also, Coach, this year through the portal, you guys have probably got somewhere between 8 and 15 new faces in the program. Just talk about how you've seen them gel with the guys from last year, and how can they contribute into this season?
Yeah, they've been great. You know, and there's some unique instances. Some of the guys I recruited when I was a position coach all the way back in fall of 22, and they went on to other places, and then we had a relationship and things like that. But it's been pretty seamless. I think a little bit the timeline of everything is critical, right? And so we talk about, you know, we keep going back to all the attrition and everything, but we had guys last year that were getting on campus in July. You know, we probably had about 10 or 11 guys that we were going to count on to be substantial contributors for us. You know, all of these guys have been here since first summer session. So they've been here since June. A lot of them came in December. So the movement within the program and the roster has been minimal this year compared to last. So they've been seamless fits. And I think the guys that experienced that last year, like Mason, know what that's like. So now you're coming into a program where you have guys that have been in your shoes and that know what that transition is. So that transition is even more seamless. So it's been great.
And then last question for me. This morning, Mason and Dekalon were named to first and second team. Just talk about their success in this program, and I guess the other 8 guys that were named, if you can, just talk about what they mean and how they can continue to contribute coming into this next season.
Yeah. It's one of the biggest blessings of my life to be able to mentor and lead these guys, to be totally honest with you. I've been fortunate to have some really good leaders and coaches in my life that have poured into me. And it's my calling to be able to do that to guys like this. And just to be able to be around these guys and watch them grow on a day-to-day basis, it gives me so much joy. I got the best job in the world. And not just on the field, but off the field. These are great guys. Like I want my son to be watching these guys grow up one day, and here's a great example. This morning, and this is probably because we're in San Antonio, but both these guys were at the 7 a.m. team run this morning, and then they came up here. You know what I mean? We've had a ton of guys come together this summer, and we have guys that love each other. And we talk about winning with intention, and that's the core value of our program. But the pillars of it are detail, effort, love, and trust. And these guys love each other, and they love their teammates, and they trust each other. And they've trusted me to lead them, and I'm forever indebted to them. This is not a 4-year thing with us. Obviously, you get guys that come in and maybe they're on your team for 6 months, or they come in and they're for a couple years. They're not 4 years. But I think, and they can attest to this, and guys that have played for me and that are in the locker room right now can attest to this. But if you come play for Coach Killough and my staff, this is a lifelong thing. Brandon Porter, who was the Offensive Player of the Year last year, is just walking around THSCA with a high school polo on because he just got a high school coaching job. They come up and say hello to me. That's why I do these things. All this other stuff is great, but the dynamic of being a life coach for these guys, it's you can't put a number on it.
Awesome. If that's it, thank you, Coach. Looking forward to see what you guys can do building off last year, and good luck this season.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.